Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to KUHS, the stream on Melody Drive. You are watching the Weekend Boost, and I am Paul Lane, your host. I am the author of The Caregiver's Handbook, a self-help love story. And today, without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and just get started with our program. I've been so excited to be able to have the opportunity to interview Mr. International, a fixture in the Denver community, someone who's been around radio probably as long as anybody in this city. And Mr. Paul, tell me, how's it going today, man? You're in New Mexico right now.
Well, no, I'm actually a week away from going to New Mexico, but that is where I'm from, man, and I'm excited to head back home and see what's popping out there as the KUHS Roadshow is going to make its way over there. We're going to do a graduation out there, so
sweet.
We're pretty excited about it. But thank you for having me on your show. Appreciate it. I mean, you're a well-known author, man, and book writer, and fixture at KUHS. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing awesome. I tell you, I've been so looking forward to this opportunity. I've heard your name around the city since I was a kid, and just getting the opportunity to meet you, kind of passing. Whoop, my timer. I've been making candy.
All right.
But yeah, I tell you, it's been great. It's been a nice opportunity. Getting to meet so many people on this station has been so nice, and so many well-known and skilled and talented authors. Man, I tell you, it's really humbling. And like I said, you and me have crossed paths many times in the studio, and I've always kind of wondered about, hey, where does this guy come from? What's his history? And so I've been really wanting to ask you to come onto the show. So man, I just am real humbled and thankful that you're here.
Well, thank you. I'm really, Henry was doing a highlight of all the different personalities on KUHS, and I think one of the last ones he did was my brother Dan. I kept trying to avoid being on. I just felt like, I don't know, man, my story's a little tricky, maybe not made for radio or TV, but I've been at it quite a few years, 47 years, going on 48 years, and I enjoy what I do. I think one of the exciting parts for me was the reason I got into radio was, and the main reason was because of the fact that I knew Spanish. I came in from New Mexico as a monito and knowing the Spanish. I went on. I still remember this. It was back in 1977. I was watching the Denver Broncos get into the Dallas Cowboys on TV, and I looked at that. I knew I had two brothers up here. My upbringing was all our family was pretty much separated. We had 7 siblings, and I don't know if you remember back in the day, you would have an aunt and an uncle come and visit you and say, "Hey, I want that one," and they were like, "Okay, you're at the low, go ahead."
Oh yeah.
So we had 7 of us. We all got split up, and I was at the cusp of, getting into adulthood, and I told my grandma, I think I'm going to move to Denver. She tells me, "Sabes que Dios te tiene algo allá. You need to go." And that was all I needed, was her blessing. I moved to Denver, and in 1977, 78, there was a club called Rachel's Nightclub on 53rd and Sheridan. And there was a group named Ray Camacho y su Grupo Internacional. I introduced them in Spanish, and the owner of KBNO Radio,
wow,
which he was partners with Linda Trujillo, and Trujillo's mother from Channel 7, he heard me and he comes up to me and goes, "Hey, what station do you work for?" I go, "I don't work for no station." He goes, "Here's my card, call me on Monday."
Wow.
Next thing I know, George Sandoval, I don't know if you remember that name. He was a big-time personality in Denver in Spanish radio. And Ed Romero told him, "Teach him how to run the board. I want him to do a show here,
Wow.
And he was not too crazy about it, but he says, I'm going to teach you. He says, I'm only going to teach you one time. If you don't get it, you're out of here. I said, okay. Next thing I know, I'm sitting at Mile High Stadium next to Al Davis, watching the Elway throw his first pass against the Denver Broncos.
Man.
In sports in Spanish.
You're 18 years
and
old.
watching Al Davis go crazy because you see Elway run to the right and throw 65 yards to the left, and all you could see is Al Davis get up and go, F! You know? And the rest is history. You know, I did Spanish sports for about a year. And then we decided to come up with a show that was highlighting Latinos and all forms of contemporary music, including but not limited to R&B, salsa, jazz. And I had a friend of mine, I still have a good friend of mine, we're tied to the hip, and Dave Gallegos from Brighton, Colorado. And we had a show, an idea called a Latin Connection, La Conexión Latina. And that thing took off like you would not believe. Mm-hmm. So now we have a show that's highlighting Latinos, targeting the Chicano market in the Denver area, where before there was nobody targeting that market. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden we're getting all these incredible numbers. And, you know, we're doing shows like, you know, talking to fake concerts at the time, and bringing in people like Funny All-Stars, bringing in Tierra, you know, when they were hot off the American Music Awards and this kind of thing. And of course, you know, we've seen a lot of shows. Him and I, we emceed Jose Feliciano at the Rainbow Music Hall. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, yes.
It was really interesting because at that time, you know, smoking weed was not cool. You know, if you got caught smoking, it was bad. Well, that was his thing. He liked to smoke a joint before he went on stage. And it was so funny, you know, talking to Feliciano. I mean, that's iconic. I mean, that's the man.
That's a legend, yeah.
And I was just frozen because this was going to be my first major show on stage. And I'm watching him, he's all relaxed, and he goes, hey, Paul, have you ever seen this inside of my house? I said, no. I go, well, there's no worry about it. I haven't either. You know, really relaxing. And that's what broke the ice for me, man. We went on stage and introduced him, and we made a friend for life in Jose Feliciano, you know. Yeah. So we had that run of the Latin Connection for a good 8 years on KUHS. And, you know, everything comes to an end, and Dave Gallegos went his way, I went mine, and I went on to KDKL. That kind of put the mark on me because now I'm at the, you know, one of the few Chicanos next to Pepe Martinez that has ever been on KDKL, mm-hmm. representing the 303, you know. And I started 7 to midnight as the night rider, and then actually I started overnights from midnight to 6 in the morning, where all the fruits come out. Oh, man. And so I did that for a year. And then they gave me 7 to midnight. I was a night rider, and I did that for 2 years. And next thing I know, I'm doing afternoon drive as the traffic jammer on KDKO.
Oh, man.
And to me, that was the ultimate, you know. So I had about a 12-year run at KDKL. Kind of became a household name, you know, and proud of it, man, you know. I stayed in the same market. I've been there for 40-some years. I was talking to my one of my mentors, Sweet G, George Martinez. He's in the LA market, which I'm going to have on my show here real soon. He was telling me about, you know, how why didn't I move to another market? I had an opportunity to move to Las Vegas when Michael Jackson had opened up a nightclub in Las Vegas, and Mr. Jackson, his father, had some scouts going around different clubs in Denver looking for DJs to open the club up. Well, they asked me if I would be willing to open up the club for Michael Jackson's club in LA.
Holy cow.
And at that time, I had just had one of my kids, and I didn't want to really leave the market, and I told a friend of mine in Jam and Joe, I says, hey, why don't you go up there and check it out, see if this is real, you know? He calls me, he goes, bro, I'm in the limo with Mr. Jackson right now. He goes, he wants your ass over here. I go, are you kidding me? He spent 3 days with him. And he goes, this thing is real, bro. The construction on this club is unreal. He says, you got to take advantage of it. I passed it up because of my, you know, I had a new baby, and I knew if I was going to go to Vegas, I was going to stay there, you know. Mm-hmm. So that was an opportunity that came by me that, you know, I should have taken, but I didn't, you know. I'm not bummed about it because I'm glad to be in this market, you know. So that one was just happened along all these clubs here in Denver, you know, and I did, you know, Rachel's, I mean, you name it, I pretty much jammed in all the clubs, even some that I would not say. But from there I went to jam in 1015. Oh, yes. And I started doing the Sunday cruising. I was doing 7 to midnight. And Cha-Cha Chavez at the time was the program director, and she used to have me come in and fill in for her and this kind of stuff. So the thing is, the Denver radio market, it just changed so much, and it became so corporate, where there were different companies taking over the whole market, you know, where KYGO, 1075, and, you know, all these different companies were taken over by big market companies, corporations. So, you know, I looked at that, and I really didn't get the freedom that I liked when I was at KVO and KDKL, you know, because what was happening was we had so many opportunities when you're in, you know, free radio. I call it free radio, like KDKL. When you're like places like at the last station I was with, they give you a format, they give you the songs, you could pick up 1 or 2 songs and you could switch it up. But I've never had that freedom, but at that station. So I said, I'm done. You know, I don't want to just, we're going to get off from Atlanta. And he says, hey man, come to your streamer. I go, no, man, you probably got to have out of the base ourselves, you know. He goes, no, man, I don't like this, man. Online radio, see, I was on, and you got to try this, and he kept calling me, and we finally got it together, and now I got deep cuts on Saturdays after your show. It's the longest running show on KUHS. Right on. And, you know, it's been blessed with that, and, you know, kind of help Henry launch this to where we're at, and, you know, you're playing a part of it, and that's kind of where full circle, where everything came together. Nice, nice. Hey folks, if you're just joining us, you're watching KUHS, the stream on Melody Drive, and this is the Weekend Boost. I am Paul Lane, and we are talking to Mr. International Paul Chavez today. Paul has been, really since the inception of KUHS, Mr. International here at KUHS. We've been talking about his history and here in Denver, and he actually came to Denver when he was a young buck, and for those of you who are from Denver, know KDKO, you know, KBNO, that was the beginnings of Denver's radio history, you know, and so you were really part of it. You know, when we were talking, when I first asked you to come on the show, and you said, well, I've never written any books, and I told you, you're a fixture, man. You know, you're someone that I think people would like to know, and they don't know about, because you've made an impact on people's lives, and, you know, you don't think about it as a DJ that you impact, but you do. People listen to you, you know, and you do touch people's lives. So when we first started out, you know, being a small fish in a big pond, I mean, Denver had to be a big city, even though it was a countdown. Yeah. That's, you know, 77, I joined the Army that year, and I remember I'd go to the East Coast and they'd say, you're the countdown, you know. And, you know, when I came back from my Army training, you know, I looked at Denver after seeing New York and, you know, Philadelphia, and it's like, wow, you know, we are a countdown. But nevertheless, here we are, you know, we're becoming on the world stage, we're becoming you know, a real powerhouse, the city of Denver and the radio, and internet radio. What's your thoughts on the you know, on what's going on with internet radio and streaming? Well, I'll tell you, I didn't think much of it until just recently. I mean, till those last 4 years. And actually, Henry had to kind of put the vision in my mind because I thought, internet radio, you got to tune it in, you got to do this. But now things have just gotten so much easier, and logging in and this kind of thing. So I'm just happy that I'm in it now. I'm in it to win it. I've got a face for radio, but Henry's always got me on the air and doing stuff and on TV. I mean, it is what it is. I'm just happy to be on. Absolutely. I think internet radio is where it's at. I think I've had people listen to me in parts of the world that I couldn't even pronounce now, and that's exciting, man.
Oh yeah. And I'm sure that there's probably people who have questions or would like to pick your brain. And I'm guessing there's probably a young man or a young woman out there who's thinking, man, I'd like to become a radio personality. What would you tell that person?
Well, first of all, find yourself, meaning that you got to identify who you are. I used to watch Steve Kelly. Steve Kelly from,
KUHS.
I can't remember the name of the station. He's on 710 now, and I used to watch him, and I thought he was just an amazing disc jockey or, radio personality, and I checked him out, Ed Sardella from Illinois. There was quite a few people that I really, there's a DJ that's iconic. Having them on my show pretty soon, talking about Art LeBeau. Art LeBeau is out of Los Angeles. He's kind of like the Chicago Dick Clark, and I really try to emulate, but at the same time create my own personality. And that's important, find yourself, know who you are, know what you're trying to portray. I knew when I went on the radio, I knew I was representing a certain group of people.
Yes.
And obviously there are people who come on and try to be somebody that they're not. And to me, it was just being myself. And I always had to remember that I'm representing not only my family, but my gente. And in that form, I wanted to be on top of my game.
Right,
because I wanted to be informative. I wanted to be to the point and let the music speak for me. That's always been my game. Because if you listen to my shows, I'm in and out because the music is what makes the program. We can sit there and talk, but people are just waiting for you to mess up and then call you up and tell you, man, you really messed up.
And that's something, man. So do you get a lot of comments or community input as you're doing your shows?
Well, I missed a station, and I'll get to that. It was KUVO. I was doing Consumer on KUVO. I did a show on there, and I actually got inducted to the KUVO Hall of Fame, which I really, am really proud of that. I was inducted into the Colorado Broadcasters Hall of Fame as the second Hispanic in the history of the Colorado Broadcasters Association. And, people do. Now that I can send out my shows to different people and all that, I do get comments, and they ask me, where did you find that song, or what gave you that idea to say that, or my thing is being on your side and interviewing people. I had Ed Sardella from Channel 9 who had just retired, and it was an exciting time because I always interviewed him, like is that me or is that you?
I don't know, I think it might be you.
Are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
So now you got to meet all the TV personalities, radio personalities. As you do that, did you feel like you were out of your league? Did you feel like, man, I'm with the big guns now, man?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm guessing that you probably had to come to a point where you said, man, I am one of the big guns. I am one of these guys. I'm sitting on the chair next to Ed Sardella, man. You know, you.
Yeah, you know, and to this day, I really don't. I guess I'm just me, man. You know, and I'm willing to take on anybody. You know, vice presidents. I had when Peña won the mayor's seat. I was one of the first Hispanic guys to have him on and really talking about down-to-earth stuff with him. That was pretty exciting for me. I really don't think about it like that. Once I have somebody in front of me and I'm working with them, and I just like to dig into them and dig into them, and by the time I know it, they're comfortable.
Yes.
And it's just a conversation, you know. And there is no stage too big for me. You know, I've done events at Red Rocks. I've done events at what was McDickles. I haven't done anything at the Pepsi Center / whatever it is now. But you know, when I've interviewed people, I've always there was one interview, and it was because she made me feel uncomfortable. I don't know if you remember the gal that Pebbles. She did a song called Girlfriend, and she was in town. She was kind of annoyed. She thought, I gotta go to a small market, go to a radio station, and she kind of got in my skin, into my skin a little bit, like, hey man, you know where you're at, you know, we're the stations that make it happen for you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but other than that, it's always been good.
You know, one of the things about being a radio personality is, you know, the words "the show must go on" always ring true. You know, and so, you know, I know you lost a brother here recently, and I know how tough that was. I lost 2 brothers last year, and you know, to be able have to come onto the radio and, you know, being in that state of grief and being in, you know, or angry at your spouse, or, you know, had a fight with your kid, or, I mean, you know how that goes.
Kicking the dog, yeah, totally.
And you got to come in here and put on that smile, man, and, you know.
Absolutely, you know, and early on in my career at KDKO, I lost my wife suddenly. She was at Lakeside with the kids, and I got a call that, you know, you need to get down here, and unfortunately she passed away at Lakeside. And that was probably one of my low points in my life, where I was on KDKO at the time, and I told Carlos Lando, I go, Carlos, I don't think I can do this for a while. You know, he goes, take all the time you need. Your job will be here. It took me a couple of months, and I called him up and I says, I'm ready to come back to work and you know, be a part of the deal. Because it's, once you get to you know, the 30 and 40 years, it makes things a lot easier. Just leave everything at the curb. Leave all the junk at the curb, like you do your trash, and come in and, like you say, put on that smile.
Yes, that's right, man. And you know, you're there truly to lighten up people's day. You know, I finished with the station and have people call me and say, hey, you know what, I got a lot out of the show today, and you know, it's like, wow, that makes this so worth it. You know, and I don't know how you feel, but a lot of times when I come on here, I can't lie, I feel like I'm unworthy to be here. You know, I feel like, man, what did I do to deserve this? And then, like you say, the show starts, you know, and I have a 5-star Amazon bestseller on the show, and you know, it's like, hey, let's talk, man, let's get on here. You know,
that's cool.
That's what it's all about, you know.
Right. And for you, is maybe introducing new authors and bestsellers. For me, is coming out with new music and artists that maybe have not been highlighted, like Andy Vargas. You know, he's the lead singer of Carlos Santana. He's become a good friend of mine, and you know, we highlight his music, and he's down here. You know, here he is jamming with Carlos Santana. I mean, big time guy, and we gave him a heck of a welcome. You weren't at the station yet when he came in. We did drums and everything, introduced his new music. We highlighted him over at the Jazz and Jacks, which was open at one time, but it really made it a special time. To me, that's my excitement when I'm able to bust out a new artist, make it a hit, And, there's a saying that at KUHS is, where the stars are born and raised elsewhere. And that's where we're at, man.
I tell you, folks, if you get a chance to listen to Mr. International, the afternoon Saturday show, I'm telling you, there's some awesome music being played. A lot of times we just go out in the backyard and we crank the radio up and we listen to it, So it's always it's so nice to not only hear the music, but hear, know the personality that's behind it, man. So,
well, thank you so much. And don't forget, I got a Tuesday show as well.
Oh, yes.
Called, The Leader, and on that show, we try to bring in new artists. We try. We cover the whole gamut. Connect our house, that kind of stuff. So again, we try to inform, entertain. And that's the main thing. But for me, is the love of music, and I think that's what's kept me in the game so long. It's ironic now that this pandemic stuff opened up again. It's kind of dying down. I mean, all of a sudden I'm getting all these gigs, and I'm like, you want me to jam? I'm 62 years old. And says, we know you know your music. We know you can do it. Come on out. So. I'm excited about it. I mean, I think it's a kind of new lease on life. Although I got my second shot, people are telling me that I'm probably going to check out in 2 years, but I'm going to enjoy it. I got a sister in Albuquerque that looks into the deep, deep dark one. Says, "Hey, you took that shot?" I said, "Yeah." And took my second one too. He says, "Well, you got 2 years to live." Well, I guess I'm going to enjoy it 2 years.
So, tell me, when the pandemic hit, and in your career here at the station, how did that impact you? Was there changes that you saw, or was it really just business as usual for you?
Even with the pandemic?
Yes, sir.
Well, obviously we were being a lot more careful, and I just saw, I was still trying to DJ at nightclubs. Bar 38 was one, and it was just so weird because. First of all, you gotta wear a mask, you can't belly up to the bar, you can't dance, and if you do, you gotta stand up by your table with your mask on and dance and then sit out. It was just like, I couldn't take it. So I did it for about a month during the pandemic, and I go, my tip is watching people dance because I know they're enjoying the music.
Yes.
And I wasn't getting my tip, being an entertainer / radio personality, when you're out in the public and you're jamming to the people, and the way you can tell that they appreciate what you're doing is when they're up jamming, when they're grooving, and toe tapping, finger snapping. That's kind of a tip for us, and enjoy that because it's a rush for us,
yes.
As entertainers. That saying that people get into it. So it was really difficult. Finally, I just said back in March, I said, you know what, I'm going to just take a time out. I'll wait till this stuff goes over. And now, I'm getting blown up everywhere. And all it has to do with the fact that, I'm in KUHS, I'm still in the forefront, and people are watching us and hearing us. And now more than ever, people just want to get together and have a good time.
Yes.
With their fans.
Yes, I'm seeing more and more of that. And, for me, I really did miss that, and it's been nice to get my second shot now and be able to go and see family. And I got 2 grandkids coming next week, and oh buddy, I tell you what, this is what life's about. I'm thinking about this part of my life is really the best part of my life, and it's all I got. And so like you, hey, if I got 2 more years or whatever, or 1 more day, I'm gonna really enjoy it. 2 weeks ago,
I don't blame you. It's funny. It's going to be years since I see my family in New Mexico, and I make it a point to get out there at least, every 3 months, as everybody's kind of, getting more seasoned, and I've lost a few family members in between time with funerals, and it just really sucked, man. So it's going to be exciting going back home and seeing my familia again, and I don't know, it seemed like this pandemic was damned, but it was good too because we're no longer going to take our families or our friends for granted.
Because, yes.
we gotta appreciate each other more. I think this has kind of brought us together, more and more, because it's just ugly when you can't, go visit family,
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. The isolation, I talked to a lot of people about this, the pandemic and how it affected them, and I've seen couples that have split up, and I've seen couples who have become closer, and I was on that other group, I was really fortunate because, we were in one place, and there's no one else, and it's you and that other person or people in that household, and it's we're gonna find out the best and the worst of who we are.
Right. Well, for me, my dog couldn't wait for me to leave the house, man. He says, "How long are you gonna be here, dude? Come on, get out of here."
So now you lost your wife. Sounds like back in about the '70s, late '70s, huh?
Right. Actually, it was '84, and that was definitely a tough time in my life. I'm like the Rodney Dangerfields of marriages. I lost a wife. Now I can talk about it, to another woman. I lost a wife to immigration, and it's just, I'm like the Rodney Dangerfields and love affairs. Just can't get it right.
Oh, man.
But I'm happily married now. I've been married with my current wife for 12 years, and things have been going good. So hopefully we can just, finish this part of my chapter of my life with this one. So, hi, Lori. So anyway, that's, when you lose a wife, you appreciate your next relationship because, it was ironic, and I think I speak for most men, once you go to work, come home, give her the money, she pays the bill, and blah, 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 and when it was time, when she would pass, I didn't know what bills were what to be taken care of. I had no clue of nothing. And now I'm on my game every time, and make sure that I know what needs to be handled and taken care of, and actually know what's going on within the household, because it's important, because you just never know.
Big time. Man, I remember when my wife was first diagnosed with her cancer, in 2006, and I never paid bills. I didn't do much laundry. I did a little cooking, and all of a sudden, all of that was put on me, and it's like, holy cow! What do you mean you got to pay bills every month, And so it really does. It's a rude awakening to go through something like that, and to recover from that is even harder,
Yes.
As you went through that, and did you find yourself going through a conflict with work? Did you just want to withdraw from the world? Did you?
Well, that was one thing about being in radio is that, I got away from it for a couple of months, but I just felt the need to had to get in there and get back into it, because if not, I was going to be stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that was my escape. Every time I get on the radio, I call it my happy place.
Yes.
Because you got, 2 hours, 1 hour, 3 hours, whatever it is. That's when you just block everybody out, and spill your shit out on other people, give a positive vibe and play some good jams. And I needed to get back into that, get back on the horse, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that really helped me, being in the broadcast business. It actually did. Who knows what it could end up being an alcoholic or whatever, because a lot of men do that. They'll just, get into drugs or whatever, and next thing you know is, your best friend is Jim Boone,
Yep. I've been there, man. I stood in front of that mirror with a bottle of Jack Daniels after my mom died. I tell you, it about killed me. I lost my wife and then my mom 2 years later, and
well, that's ironic you say that, because I lost my mom a year after my wife died.
Wow.
And she was my everything. She was my best friend. She was, and she was the one that I called her up, and she never had the luxuries of life. And when I moved to Denver and I started kind of making it, I first sent her a washer and dryer. She loved that. Then I bought her a microwave. Oh my God! I mean, it just flipped her out. She thought I was in the box, right? And that's a really, I would get excited. My goal was to buy her a house, Obviously, she didn't make it to quite that long, but it's just one of those things where you just can't take life for granted, and your mom and your wife are one and two, man. It's so important. And when my brother Dan passed, it was another big recently, him and I were tied to the hip, and we do everything together. And as a matter of fact, when I got married this last time, my brother would come over and stay over, and she goes, "Wait a minute, did I marry you and him, or what's going on here?" So look, man, he's not sleeping in our room, so don't worry about it, But that's how tight Dan and I were. And I had his kids over on Wednesday, and I hadn't seen them since the pandemic hit. My nieces and nephews, and it was good to talk things out because everything was just left there, Mm-hmm. And I miss my brother too, man. It's been tough.
Just over a year now, huh?
Yeah, it was I believe September 19, 20.
Oh, so it's a couple, yeah.
19. Yeah, it's going to be 2 years now, yeah.
It's funny, I never met Dan, your brother Danny, but when he passed, I mean, it was an earthquake, man. I mean, there was a lot of people in the city and around the community that, I mean, my brother, who, I never knew that my brother knew Danny, your brother Danny, and I run into people and they talk about, we start talking about KUHS and they ask me if I knew Danny, and it's like, I didn't get to meet him. But yeah, he was, I think his loss had to be a really big, tough loss for you.
It was, and for the KUHS community because, he did what I did in 30-some years of broadcast. What he did on social media in 4 years, I think he surpassed what I was doing because he knew how to work social media and he had the listeners, man. And Henry will tell you, I mean, it took me, a lifetime to get all these fans and listeners because I was on AM radio in Denver, blah, blah. This guy had fans all the way up to, Timbuktu. I mean, he just knew how to work the social media, and it was just amazing how he took off. He really, who knows where he'd be now? He probably may not even be at KUHS, he might have been somewhere else by now, but it was a fun ride for him. He lived and spoke nothing but KUHS to the point where the family said, "Dad, stop it already with KUHS."
Now, do you have kids, Paul?
What's that?
Do you have kids?
I do. I've got 3 kids. I got 7 stepkids, and I got 10 grandchildren, and they're all girls.
Oh man, okay.
Yeah. So in that area, I'm the richest man in the world.
Yeah, buddy.
And having grandkids and stuff, that's the kind of stuff when you turn silver and gray, and that's the kind of stuff, there's no money. You could have all the money in the world, but if you don't have familia and watching your grandkids growing up and being a part of that, because you could be a kid again, and get away with it.
Oh, buddy, I can so relate to what you're saying, bro.
Again, and then you play with them and say, "Okay, it's time for me to go home.
Yeah, here's some candy." Yeah, I do. I love the grandkids, and I do. That's just such a blessing to have them around,
It is.
As you go through your life, and you come into the station every week and every Tuesday and Saturday to do your show. What kind of things do you hope for or expect to see in your future? I see this station growing. I see this station really exploding now, and I'm guessing that you're probably going to be here for the duration.
Well, yeah, until they carry me out of there in a body bag, because I am in for the long haul. We got it started, and things are going good, and we're looking at some great things at KUHS. Henry's upgrading everything, and It's being one of the most talked about stations in the country right now, as far as internet radio. So I don't know. This thing's going to take off. I really do believe that. So in one end, it's you know it's about new blood, but at the same time you need those veteranos.
Yes.
Those guys heading things out.
Yes, yes. I'm going to talk about, being bilingual. It's one of my big regrets in my life. My mom never taught me Spanish. All the Spanish I know I've learned from construction, from trabajaderos and, and techeros. And, I really am grateful for that little bit of Spanish that I know. And you're fluent in Spanish. And how has that served you in Denver? And what do you think about being bilingual?
Well, when I first came into Mile High City, my first job was working as a job developer at the Colorado Migrant Council, working for helping migrants getting out of working in the fields and getting the mainstream jobs. And I saw, the true meaning of prejudice, because I had never seen that in New Mexico, going to different owners of different companies and asking them if they wanted to hire these hard-working people that spoke Spanish only. That first thing that come out of their mouth, big corporations. They say, you know what? We don't want those people here. And as a matter of fact, you need to leave my office.
Wow.
That's the kind of stuff that I saw here in Denver in the early 70s. And it was sad because these are hard-working people. I did hook up with one Kmart. First one was over on Federal and 52nd there by Regis College, used to be up there. I convinced the manager to let me bring in some people to clean the store. They have meetings and managers every year, every month of all the Kmarts they were managing. He was getting the cleanest store of the month every month. It's a bonus for them. So they hit him up and they go, who do you have keep the store? I said, well, call this guy, Paul Chavez. He's got some good people that are coming in. All of a sudden, I had the whole city loaded with the Mexicanos cleaning their stores because they did such good work.
Absolutely.
So, but being bilingual is what got me into radio, got me into, everything that I've done, I thank my grandma for it because she taught me Spanish. And I came in with the manito son, the Spanish, but I quickly had to learn el español regular because I was all of a sudden on the Spanish radio station doing a bilingual show, and I was the only one doing the Spanish stuff. So what happened was they told me I used to get calls from Mexicanos, and they say, "Vete como hablar en español, pinche Chicano," something like that, and it was straight up.
Nice.
So I said, I gotta polish up, and I did. There was a period there where, with the fact that I knew Spanish, I worked at Univision for 12 years as well. And working at Univision, I was really in touch with the Mexicano community because I had to go out and sell advertising, write their commercials, and create a market that wasn't there yet. It was just growing. And my Spanish had to be on my game. A lot of it I had to learn, but I created a really good bond with the Mexicano market, and I understood what are the challenges they have because, first of all, they come here illegal, they want to start their own businesses, they have no idea of marketing, they think TV is way out of their realm, and I had to bring all that together for them, and at the same time build American-owned businesses and convince them that it's okay to market to this huge market. They spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions, and not just buying aftermarket stuff. They like the best.
They like nice things. That's like
brand names.
Yes, absolutely.
They're going to buy the best for the whole family. And if they go to your restaurant, you're not getting one or two. You're going to get uno.
La familia.
They're looking at me like, really? And do I have to get money and do Mexican pesos or what? That was my job to educate them. You know what I mean?
Man.
Tony Roma's is a good example. You remember Tony Roma's, the Red Place?
Oh, yeah.
I went and, it originally started in Miami and came to Denver, long story short. That was the owner. He goes, "Oh man, this is really impressive, but do I have to change my menu to Spanish?" And I go, "No, that's why they got their grandkids, man. They're gonna do it, and you're gonna make a lot of money." Next thing I knew is they were spending some big money on Univision. You know, I had the Colorado Lottery. I created a game for the Colorado Lottery. Check this one out.
Sweet.
I was thinking of marketing all the time. At the time, the Chicago Bulls were really hot, Michael Jordan and all of that. And they were having a problem with people asking for lottery tickets in Spanish. So I came up with a name called Boleto. So it was a bullhead and then leto.
Huh?
Boleto is ticket, right? So they would come say, "Dame dos boletos," you know?
Oh, wow.
So it was the game. That was the game that it did really well. As a matter of fact, it was picked up in other states as well.
I'll be darned.
That was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But that was part of my life in the world of selling advertising that really created things for me in the market. It was really exciting. I guess that's why, you know, I did time at, you know, like I said, when you were showing at 12 years, I did Telemundo for 2 years. I did TV Azteca. I did, I mean, I did television for a lot of years as well, but it was all behind the scenes.
You've introduced some really famous people in your time too, haven't you? At Pepsi Center and various engagements.
You know, one of my big ones was when I introduced the Jacksons.
Man.
And it was very quick because they want you in and out of there. You know, Alexander O'Neill. My best interview that I ever had was with Gloria Estefan.
Cool, man.
Gloria Estefan was just so down to earth, and you know, I recorded the interview on a reel-to-reel because at that time we didn't have none of the stuff, right? So I lost the reel-to-reel, and it really hurts me. But that was one of the best interviews that I did. You know, I introduced so many groups. You know, from the Funny All Stars to, you know, Tierra, Malo, El Chicano. I produced my own show, Spring Jam Night, 2001, 2002, I believe it was. We had one of the biggest Cinco de Mayos at the Thornton Town Center, which was called Town Center. I had Report, Malo, El Chicano, Tierra, and Roberto Griego. It was like the who's who of music business. And so, you know, where you get off Thornton Town, well, on 84th there,
Oh, yeah.
going northbound, the traffic backed up all the way back to I-70. And all of a sudden, the state patrol comes over and we go, "We're ready to stop this." And I go, "Oh, yeah. So we got a bill for you because we've been having to manage traffic all the way back to 70. And people were parking everywhere. So we put up a gate about maybe 5 foot high, 4 foot high. I charged $1 to get in, $1. And still people were jumping the fences. But we had a good time. It was one of those deals. So yeah, I did see a lot of shows. You know, Ryder Shade Brown. I've also emceed shows for the Lowrider Car Club, the Lowrider magazine. I did Arizona. I did Denver. I did Albuquerque, and I did Texas, Houston.
Wow.
Where I actually toured with the actual Lowrider car show. And now this thing gets out of control. It's huge, you know. Yeah, Johnny Lozano said, "Hey, man, I want you to go with us and do this." And we did, man. It was fun, you know. So, yeah, I've had an opportunity to, interview a lot of people. But the biggest one that stood out in my mind is Gloria Estefan.
Oh, yeah, I think that would be a real game changer.
Yes.
That's definitely pretty amazing.
Yes.
So you've surfed many turfs, and you've definitely made a name for yourself in the city of Denver. I grew up in West Denver. We were very poor. We didn't, I didn't have a dad. My mom raised us, and we had Mexicanos, that lived behind us in the alley, across the alley from us, and down the street. And we were always around, people from Mexico, and so you know, when all of this anti-Mexican and anti-immigrant mentality came in, I was really, I don't know, I was kind of freaked out by it. I was really disappointed, I guess. I don't know. What would you tell someone who has this fear of people from Mexico, that they're here to do harm or to take their jobs, or and you and I know that's just not the case. I don't know exactly what I'm trying to ask you. How would you help someone get comfortable or accept that, you know what, we're all one people, you know, we're
here. Yeah, for me, once I got involved and entrenched with the Mexicano community and finding how hard it was for them to get here, first of all.
Yes.
And then the belief of what their ideas were to become members, productive members of the society, whether business owners, sheetrock companies, whatever it may be, and really get to know, what they are. The thing is, you got to realize that most of them came here just to pick our fields.
That's it.
That was number one. And man, I appreciate those people more than ever now, to the point where, I married one, and unfortunately immigration took her away from me. But I really got to understand, because there's always been this division, and let's face it, it's real, between the Mexicanos and the Chicanos.
Yes.
There's always been a separation, and a lot of it is just not understanding each other. They're not really here to take our jobs. They're here to take whatever they can get. Yep. And work their ass off for it.
And hard workers, yes.
And hard workers, and there was never, for me, it took me maybe a week or two to really understand what the deal was with these Mexicanos, and I appreciate what they stand for. I appreciate their hard work and what they what they believe in, and all they want to do is just make a living and try and live the American dream,
Yeah.
Buy the nicest trucks that they can and get the fanciest boots that they can get.
That's it.
And eventually buy home. And now, with the Dreamers, you've got a lot of these kids that are being sent off to college and graduating.
They're going to be contributors, They're going to be really, truly making America great, really making America great. If you look at all the many of the inventions that have happened, and a lot of the new concepts that we're seeing, they're brought here by immigrants, and I think that we're a country that is a country of immigrants, and we need to value and appreciate that. Hey, I got a question for you. If someone was wanting to hire you for a KJ or for a DJ or for an MC, how could they reach you? How could they get a hold of you?
They could either call myself, 720-285-0376. I'm also available through Henry, and you can go through KUHS. We are getting swamped with events now. Quinceañeras, graduations. I just got booked for a wedding, and we're getting booked fast. So if you're looking at doing something, it's just that everybody all of a sudden, we want to do an event because we got to get the familia together, or whatever it may be. And honestly, the best way to go to is, like I said, to Henry and myself, and we have a pool of DJs too. It may not be Paul Chavez, but I can get someone for you. I've got people that would be happy to do something.
Nice.
So yeah, for sure, appreciate you letting me know about that.
Yes. Well, folks, you've been watching the Weekend Boost on KUHS, the stream here on Melody Drive, and we've been interviewing Mr. International Paul Chavez. Those of you who are from Denver recognize his name. He's been, just like I said, he's a fixture. KBNO, KDKO, Univision, 101.5. He's been, all over the city. And, we just really appreciate and value and really just love having you here. And I'm just, I'm a fan, man.
Well, thank you so much, and I'm a fan of yours. I always talk about you after, of course, my show comes on after yours, and I always talk about how interesting
Well, cool, man. I'm
these
hoping.
people that you bring in that are writing books and doing this. You know, as you get a little more seasoned, I find myself listening to more talk radio and conversations like what you're doing. And I used to be applauded. I think you've got some major subject, and whatever you do, appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Right on, man. Thank you so much, Paul. Guys, again, thank you so much for joining us. Paul, thank you for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you in a couple of weeks. Get ready for Mr. International. He's on next, and thank you again for joining us. Have a great day.